Welcome, welcome. I'm so excited you're here with me today. My name is Cindy Lish, and I empower career changers, transitioning teachers, those returning to the workforce, everybody who's looking for a job to find amazing jobs that match your current why. Okay, today we are going to talk about 5 resume mistakes that you are making. So we all know it, right? The resume is really, really important. It's the first step in getting into the interview, right? The resume gets us the interview. So it's really important that we make sure that our resume is hitting all the right checkpoints. Okay, so let's talk about mistake number 1. People are constantly changing their resume. I'm updating you read it all the time on LinkedIn. I'm updating my resume for the 47th time this week, for the 55th time this week. Stop updating your resume randomly. Update your resume specifically with a job posting, okay? Because even jobs with the same title are going to have different requirements. And if you are doing this again and again and again, and you keep updating your resume and you are still not getting answers, this is what the problem is. The problem is that you're coming up with general resumes or general resumes for each field without targeting them to the job that you're applying for. And that's how come you're so frustrated, because you keep putting these resumes out there and it's like, I'm constantly working, but nothing is happening. Okay, one of my recent clients who's going on multiple interviews right now as we speak, she said, when you showed me exactly what I was doing and how to target the resumes for each job, it actually saved a lot of time, because previously I was just changing words. I didn't know what I was doing. So make sure that you're changing the resume for an actual job that you're about to apply to. So rather than collecting jobs, I want you to do one at a time. Find job, target resume and cover letter, apply, repeat. Okay, so that's mistake number 1, just arbitrarily changing your resume without changing it towards an actual specific job, not a job title, but field, but an actual job. Okay, mistake number 2, we've all heard it, right? The spray and pray. Having one resume, one generalized resume that covers a whole bunch of topics, and maybe you have many different titles up on top. Maybe it says, project manager and curriculum writer and instructional designer, and it's got 8 different titles up there. That doesn't work either. You have to be able to show the other person who's reading this, first off, getting through an applicant tracking system, but then even the recruiter, that you are really interested in this exact position and your experience is talking to this exact position. Okay, which means that you're choosing all the time what you're keeping, what you're taking off, because you have a lot of great experience, but it's going to be most important to target to that specific job. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, writing your bullet points like a task list. So a task list reads very much like a job posting. Okay, responsible to do this, responsible to do this, responsible to do that. So if you had a task list on your resume, it's going to say, I prepared this, I organized this, I answered this, I responded to this, I did that. What you want to have on your resume is you want to show the results. You want to show the accomplishments. So did you just do it, or did you organize it, run it, spearhead it, right? Did you have a leadership position in what you were doing? Were you part of a team? Maybe you weren't the leader, maybe you were on the team. So did you collaborate with a team of how many people? What did you do? Put in numbers as often as possible, and most importantly, put in the results. So what happened as a result of you doing this? What value have you added to the company, organization that you work for as a result of what you did? So I didn't just do this, but I did it really well, and this is what happened as a result for that. That's what employers are looking for. They're looking for the impact of what you put on there. Okay, so that's mistake number 3. Mistake number 4 is putting in too much information. Now, this can come in 2 different ways. One way that it comes is putting in chronologically too many years of work. So you want to go back 10 years, 15 years maximum on your resume, unless there's something very specific, and there's a true value to have something that's older than that. But if not, you want to go back 10 years or 15 years maximum. Listen, let's face it, you are not the same person that you were 20 years ago. Technology is not the same as it was 20 years ago. So you certainly don't want to start your resume 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It just helps to promote ageism. It makes it seem like you may have become stagnated, right? So when people stay in one position for a long period of time, there is the issue of, have they continued to learn? Have they continued to grow? So even if you've been at the same position for 20 years, start your resume 15 years ago, right? You don't have to start it 20 years ago, start it 15 years ago. That's the date that you started. This is where the chapter, this is where the book is beginning, 15 years ago. Okay. The other way that people are putting in too much information is by adding bullet points of things that are completely and totally irrelevant to the job. So understand that we've all done so much in our jobs. We've done so much in our work, but not everything is going to be relevant to the job you are applying for. So if they don't care about it, if it has no importance whatsoever, take it off. Okay. Take it off. It's just confusing to the person reading it. So much they have to sift through. They're only looking at your resume for a handful of seconds. So you want it to be very, very clear that you are the best person for this job. Okay. So that's number 4. And mistake number 5 is putting alphabet soup on your resume. Whatever your field is, we all have acronyms and abbreviations that we use. Okay, GPN, ISO, SOC, IEP, PMI. There are so many abbreviations that we use. If it is not relevant to the job that you're applying for, write it out, translate it to something that makes sense to them. Right? Because if it doesn't make sense to what they're going towards, it's again, an irrelevant bit of information. And there are better ways, right? Use your words. Find better ways of explaining what you're trying to put on there that parallels what this job is about. Okay. Again, the whole point of this resume is to showcase I am the best person for this exact position. And the reason I'm the best person for this exact position is because here, look at my experience and my accomplishments that speak towards that position. Okay, so in review, the 5 things that you want to avoid, the 5 mistakes you're making on the resume are, number 1, randomly changing your resume arbitrarily without doing it with a specific job posting in front of you. Okay. Number 2, having that universal resume that's supposed to, spray and pray and cover any job that you're applying for. Number 3, listing your resume in terms of tasks, things you did, rather than accomplishments where you've made a difference. Number 4, including too much information, whether that be too much information even at your current job because it's irrelevant, or too much information because it's going too many years back, right? You have a 7-page resume going through everything you've ever done since you scooped ice cream when you were 16, right? Too much information. And the 5th mistake that you may be making on your resume is including irrelevant acronyms and abbreviations that don't apply to this job. You can still talk about them, but write them out in a way that is going to be intelligible. Okay. Imagine you're explaining it to somebody who has no idea what you're talking about. Now make it clear about what you've done. Okay. I hope you found this helpful. I have so much content for you, so much information. I hope that you look over, pinned to my featured on LinkedIn are 2 amazing 3-part series. One is job search rejections and one is impressing the interviewer. Tons more on my YouTube channel. And if you want some help, hey, that's what I do. Let's book that free discovery call. Let's chat for 45 minutes about how I can help you out and make you successful in your job search. You can visit my website for the calendar link, cindylish.com, and I'll also pop the links below. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you have a super productive week. Always remember you're a warrior, and I'll catch you the next time. Bye-bye.